Today on Experts Showcase, we go to Singapore with Harry Johal, who is going to talk about selling amongst the best sellers. 3 things you need to know. Harry, welcome to Expert Showcase. We are very happy to have you travel here all the way from Singapore via the airwaves. How are you doing today?
I'm perfectly fine, sir, and it's a pleasure for me, connecting from my end to your end and to appear on such a wonderful show with such a wonderful host, Dr. Mark Kosman.
Well, I appreciate that, Harry. The only problem with traveling this way is that I don't get to rack up any frequent flyer miles. I mean, it's I never seem to leave the same location. Harry, help our audience get oriented here a little bit. So give us a little quick overview of what we're going to cover in today's episode.
Well, basically, sir, as you've seen that, there are lots of authors and bands and, who want to introduce their products to a different market, beyond US, beyond, European markets like in Southeast Asia. So I'm trying to introduce those products into Southeast Asia through my talk shows, Carry on Harry, and probably we are discussing their product, we're discussing the making of the product, and in that way they get a mileage in terms of introducing to a new audience. And as the market expands, they get more chances to introduce and get mileage in terms of returns from their products.
Excellent. So, in the title, in the introduction, we said there are 3 things you need to know. So I'm going to just run those down very quickly. So the 3 things we're going to talk about are creating awareness, expanding to a new market, and then fetch a better deal. So let's take those in order, Harry. When you're working with a band or an author and you're saying create awareness, tell me a little bit about that. How do you focus on that? How do you help them do that? What's the goal that they need to take away from that?
Correct, sir. You see, sir, whenever a new product is launched, be it by a bestseller or be it by a new a person who is entering the market, they really need to come to a platform where they can get the audience which is expecting those kind of products. For example, when we talk about the book authors, and when they appear on my talk show Carry on Harry, what happens is that we already have an existing base of fans who want to be introduced to those kind of new books and products. So, for example, let's say there's a book written by Dr. Mark Kosman, and later on Mr. Chris joins. He says that, Harry, I want to introduce my book also. So I already have a fan base of Dr. Mark with me. So once Chris will making an appearance on my talk show, what happens is he get an additional fan base. So this fan base becomes curious to know about this product, what went in making of this product, and so in that way Chris is going to benefit that he is getting a fan following of Carry on Harry talk show, of Dr. Mark Kosman, and also his own market which is existingly with him, and so it's like an added advantage. The audience comes to know about the new product, and with this awareness about creation of this product, it really benefits the authors, it really benefits the bands, because they are able to get in connection with new publishers, that they are going to meet new event organizers, so they get an opportunity to visit Southeast Asia, they get opportunity to expand even to other markets where my talk shows are available, because it's a global platform where everyone is coming and listening to the shows.
So essentially, you are the vehicle for that expanded awareness, because you've been cultivating an audience with your Carry on Harry show. Your audience expects you to be bringing on guests who have books or products or a show, and they're hungry for new information or a new recommendation from you. So by being on your show, you're helping to give them that exposure to a whole new area, right?
Correct, sir. Yes.
Excellent. And I guess that really segues in and continues the conversation into your second point, which is really about expanding into a new market. So I think you were already beginning to talk about that. So I might have a following locally in my area, and I'm looking to expand to a whole new area. So by connecting with you, you have that Southeast Asian connection that I have no way to reach unless I connect with you. Am I barking up the right tree here?
Absolutely right, sir. In fact, I would like to add up here, just yesterday, I was exploring the local stores, and I found that, one of my recent guests who just was on my show just last week, and I was very pleased to, surprisingly pleased to see that his books, appearing in Singapore stores. So it creates a lot of expansion for the publisher to sell his books to the new market, because once the author comes and discuss about what is uniqueness of his book or his product, so the market expands. So these companies who are having such stores, they really contact the publishers. They really want to bring those books over, not only to Singapore, and maybe this thing is also happening in other countries where these books are getting open to the new markets.
Excellent. And so you're just expanding awareness, you're expanding reach, because otherwise this person would not be able to access that other audience that you're bringing to the table. So that sounds excellent. So your third point, you're calling fetch a better deal. So what are we talking about here? When you're speaking to someone with a product or an author, or you mentioned bands, what do you mean by fetch a better deal?
Fetching a better deal in this way, sir, many of my authors that once they had appeared on my show, they have informed me that we got contacted by a publisher sitting in Hong Kong while their book was initially introduced in US market. So this has happened a couple of times. So in that way, with the entry of the new publishers, they are able to fetch a better deal in terms of expansion. So it's all overloaded. For example, sir, maybe your first book was published by a publisher sitting in Canada, and after listening to the show, this publisher who has heard this show comes to know about your books, the success of your book, the writing of your book. Probably he could offer you a better price for your next upcoming book. So in that way, there's a better option for a publisher, for a writer, to get a new publisher who can offer a better price. So in that way, I say that is fetching a better price.
I see. Yeah, no, I understand completely. So not only is someone reaching an audience of potential customers, let's say, but they're also reaching an expanded network of people who could facilitate their next product or their next book or their next recording deal, depending on the kind of person you're working with. Is that right?
Correct, sir. You're absolutely right.
So you've mentioned a couple of times authors and bands. Tell me just a little bit more about your audience. I mean, and about the kind of guests that you're frequently bringing on. Who do you like to connect with on the show?
Well, sir, basically, I have not restricted myself to any specific category of guests. It could be anybody who has got something of a good message to deliver. It could be somebody who is a motivational speaker. It could be somebody who is into some yoga, and he can benefit my audience by giving them some tips about health, mind, body, soul. It could be somebody who has written like we spoke about the books, and somebody who is launching a new audio CD, who is launching a new band, or let's say somebody want to put up a show in Singapore and far and beyond. So they give like a pre-introduction on my show, that what sort of music they have been creating, what is the history behind this band, and what are the interesting elements about what were the ups, downs. So when we talk about the ups and downs, people who are newcomers who also want to be somebody specialized in that kind of iconic personality that who we are bringing on the show. So we have got to learn a lot of things from them. It's not just about selling something. I don't really believe in introducing my guest as that he is selling something on my show. Basically, the personality part is something which influences the audience, and the audience feels motivated that they are going to learn something new from this talk show. Plus, they are also going to be introduced to something which is worthwhile reading or listening to through this talk show. So it's more towards getting a benefit for the listener's point of view, rather than just from somebody who has appeared on the show and wants to get in connection with a new fan base. So a fan should feel fully motivated about this thing.
So your audience obviously has very broad interest and very broad appetite. They're just interested in a broad spectrum of things that are going to be entertaining, engaging, increasing their knowledge, increasing their understanding, increasing their health. So it's not specific to only one particular category. You have sort of a broad spectrum.
Correct, sir. And that's what I try to bring. Like, for example, let's say I've been introducing the authors, but a lot of authors bring forth a problem that that their books was rejected by 10, 15, 20 publishers. So what is the reason behind this? So I invite the publishers also on my show in order to make it clear to the new writers, so that they can learn that, what are the basic things due to which the books gets rejected. So what are the things that a writer should keep in mind before, he is introducing his book to the publisher to consider it for publishing. So that way, everybody learns from it, be it an expert or be it, somebody who is new. So everyone is gaining something from the show.
I love it, Harry. You're really using a talk show, a radio talk show, as a connector for all of these different parts of the audience, and they create synergies, between the guest and the audience, and vice versa. So it's fabulous. How long have you been doing this?
Well, Carry On Harry Talk Show I introduced in Singapore in about 3 years, but before that I had been doing basically touching the Asian segment for about 10 years.
Excellent. All right. So it sounds like really in terms of guests that should consider themselves potential candidates to appear on your show, it really is a broad range. It's it's music, it's art, it's health, it's all kinds of things. So you're looking for a broad spectrum of guests to be interviewed on your show, it sounds like.
Yes, in fact, some of the talk show hosts have also appeared on my show. There's a talk show host who came from Canada also, and in fact, I already want Dr. Mark Kosman also to be coming on the show, and so that we feel so proud about it, because after all, if you are introducing me to your market, there's something about your personality which audience will be wanting to know that who is Dr. Mark Kosman and what is so specialized about him, what are the plus and minus about experiences that he has seen, like what we can learn from you, and probably it will be benefiting you, because my audience would also like to know about your guest, and at the same time my guests would also love to know more about making an appearance on a show like your one, sir.
Excellent. Well, and you've already had Chris Sprague, who will be joining us in the Behind the Episode segment shortly. So he has already preceded the way, and we wouldn't be here if you guys had not already connected. So it's you're continuing your work as a connector. Well, Harry, I'm going to wrap us up at this point. This has been a lot of fun. I don't often get to connect with people in Singapore, but let me just review just for the audience's sake, and then tell people how to get in touch with you if they'd like to consider being a guest on your show. So we've been talking with Harry Johal all the way in Singapore. I didn't even have to get on an airplane. This is the wonders of technology. We've been talking about selling amongst the bestseller, 3 things you need to know. And what are those 3 things? Just to recap, we talked about creating awareness, expanding your reach into a new market, and then also getting a better deal by connecting with parts of the audience that might facilitate your business. And all of that can be achieved by tapping into Harry's offer to consider being a guest on the show. So Harry, let me tell people how to get in touch with you. The show is called Carry On Harry Talk Show, and you can visit the carryonharry.com website, and you can also write to Harry. It's very tricky. It's Harry Johal at carryonharry.com. So Harry, it sounds like it's pretty easy for people to reach out and connect to you. If they do, what's the process for them being considered to be on the show?
Well, they have to just send me the work profile, what they are doing, and what work they want to discuss on the show. And probably if some interesting facts are there that they want to highlight about their book or about anything they are specialized in, like mind body training, something like connected to health, just introduce your entire thing to me, and probably I will look into the depths, what maximum we can derive from the person's personality, from the product itself. So it's like that.
Excellent. So if you're looking to create more awareness, if you want to consider expanding into a new market, if you're looking to potentially fetch a better deal, you want to get connected with Harry at the Carry On Harry Talk Show. Harry, it has been wonderful having you on Expert Showcase today as our expert guest. Appreciate you taking the time to join us, and look forward to continuing the relationship and talking with you, and maybe even being on your show.
Thank you, sir.
And another great Expert Showcase episode. Chris, what should people do right now?
Yeah, if you're watching this and you're a coach or consultant, imagine what it would do for you and your business if you were a guest on Experts Showcase. And here's the best part. Other than possibly increasing your business, an appearance on Experts Showcase is free. We give you a copy of your episode so you can use as marketing collateral, and we give you a a coaching session to go along with it to tell you how you can best market your episode and other tips and tricks about your business. So what you want to do is head on over to expertshowcase.com, click on the big yellow apply button, and apply to be our next featured guest on the Expert Showcase. Now, if you're a coach or consultant and you've already imagined what having your own internet talk show will do for you, then we want you to head to VideoContent.Agency and check us out, check our packages out, and get in contact with us. Let's see if we're a good fit, and let's see if we're the ones to produce you and make you the next star and have your own internet talk show. And until next time, Mark, anything else?
I couldn't have said it any better, so just do what he said.